All right. Okay, it looks like I'm live. Hello, welcome to oh Talk with Tim. Uh, well, let's see what went wrong. That's what I want to talk about. What went wrong this year? What went wrong this season? Uh, Everybody wanted to blame Jim Bob Cooter. Uh, that's definitely you look at it. Maybe he only is a one-sided offensive mindset. Uh, because he definitely could coach us a lot better to victories when we only had a passing game. Because once we got a running game, hey, uh, the passing game just totally died out. Um, what went wrong? Too many injuries. Yeah, but we can't blame that on the Jets game. No, we didn't have any injuries there, and they did. What went wrong? What went wrong is basically performance. The Lions could not perform. The Lions could not. The Lions are too predictable. Everybody knows that. Why in the heck? Why in the heck does we still got Jim Bob Cooter? Why do we still got Jim Bob Cooter? Is it a throwaway season? You talk to players. You talk to the. At least you listen to the interviews. You listen. At least in training camp, it looked like uh, they were prepared to be a lot better team, but shoot, obviously they didn't. Obviously, when training camp was over and we started preseason, uh, a lot of us didn't want to believe it because we didn't think that preseason really meant something. But they looked awful in preseason. Uh, was there an underlying grudge, underlining deal where they fired Coach Jim Caldwell and brought in Patricia, and they really didn't give Jim Caldwell the time to really bring the team along? Was it a locker room issue all the time? Was it just that the Lions could not handle the change? I don't know. Because we brought in, Patricia comes in, they bring in a system, bring in players. They, of course, we keep basically the system that we have as far as an offense, except we try to improve it by adding a running game. And the couple times, a few games that we had a running game, uh, we had victories. But how much has the emphasis on the running game? How much has that hurt the production of the passing game? I think it boils down to that. Even though we never wanted to believe it, uh, you have a first year coach. The Lions got rid of a lot better talent than what we picked up in the offseason. Uh, yeah, LeGarrette Blount would be able to come in and do what he did the last couple times in previous seasons um, for like what he did with the Philadelphia Eagles last year and what he did with the Patriots a few years before. So we thought that, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. We also relied on a rookie, but he was untried and untested, and basically he had a few good games. And when he did, we won. the offensive line. All the injuries that we had with TJ Lane uh, getting knocked out. Uh, we also had, of course, Ziggy Ansah that really didn't play the first 6 games, but once he came back, it seems like the defense should have been better. Uh, we got rid of Golden Tate. Then a couple weeks after that, or maybe it was even a week after that, Marvin Jones gets hurt. We go ahead and we um, lose. We go ahead and we get rid of Amir Abdullah, and good old Kerryon Johnson gets hurt. We had a lot of depth at the beginning of the year where we really didn't even need to play a lot of our people. A lot of people that we thought this would be Amir's season to prove himself. But Kerryon at the beginning of the year looked a lot better, so we didn't need him. And then once they finally activated him, Amir Abdullah comes in and he fumbles the ball and basically starts a trend, a momentum downward. And the week after that, good old Amir is gone. You also fired the special teams coach, but yet we still have the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, it's bad when they just go ahead and say they knew exactly what they were doing before we knew it. Or actually before we did it. They knew they our film calls are really our plays calls are really just too telltale. Uh, we don't have the right players for the defense. We don't have the right players for the offense. We don't have a good offensive line. We don't have a. We put a lot of money into it to try to certify that offense line. Defense, we came in with a whole different scheme, and I don't know. Maybe Patricia thought that, uh, and you still gotta look at Patricia because he's the leader of the team, and you gotta look at Patricia. You gotta look at Jim Bob Cooter, which is a leader of the offense, and you also gotta look at Matthew Stafford because the team's not playing for him. Is it that they're incapable? Are they that bad? They're not even a mediocre team. How is it that the Bears go ahead and find ways to win? How is it that for years Green Bay Packers has found ways to win, uh, and the Lions can never do that? Lions get up so high and then they just everything falls apart. Uh, I don't know, but I do think that there are some changes that need to be made. Unfortunately, we're going to need to wait until next season to see them because it sure looks like they're going to keep Jim Bob Cooter the rest of this year. A lot of people want him gone like right now, but the season's already over. You bring in a new offensive coordinator that who knows what it'll be like and who will you promote because we got to remember when Lombardi was with the offensive coordinator, and we didn't get much production out of him. Jim Bob Cooter came in, and he went ahead, and Matthew Stafford and company went ahead and got the games going. So back then, we were for Cooter. Cooter's having a bad year or something, along with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is not really produced this season. Of course, his targets are gone. Uh, Eric Ebron's gone. Not that Eric Ebron ever really did much for the Lions, but the Lions gave him away for nothing. They cut him, and that's giving away somebody for nothing. Trade value for Amir Abdullah. There was no trade value, so they cut him. How much has this hurt the team? Obviously, it hurt them a lot. 12, 13 touchdown passes by Eric Ebron this year, or not passes, catches, excuse me. And shoot, he hardly got any when he was with Detroit. And I thought that when they got him, that he was going to have add explosiveness to the offense. And shoot, he sure as heck didn't. 10th round overall pick in the year he was drafted. So, what do we do now? It's really hard because here we are looking at a season where if we win all of our games, the best we can do is not have a losing season and not have a winning season and go 8-8. That's the best we can do. But yet you don't want to lose to everyone who's left. You don't want to lose to the Cardinals this week. We don't want to lose to the Vikings. We don't want to lose to Green Bay. We don't want to lose to the Bills. But in a way, is it better? But it's not fair to the people who bought those tickets for the Lions to go ahead and play not to win. There was a few years ago when Peyton Manning was hurt, and the saying was "lose for luck." Colts, I really wasn't sure exactly how much they lost, but they got the number one draft choice. They lost a lot of games, and a lot of people thought it was deliberately because they knew Peyton was done. Peyton, for them at least. And he had taken them as far as he could, one Super Bowl, but many playoff wins, many championship appearances. Unfortunately, for him, he couldn't get over the the AFC Championship. Get over the New England Patriots because the Patriots won more times than not. And they've been a team of the decade. So, okay, and I have heard this so much this year from not only Lion fans, but Lion fans and non-Lion fans alike. Go ahead and say, well, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Well, that's true. But what else can the Lions do? They have gotten new coaches. They have gotten new systems, and they have gotten new GMs. And we all know the disaster that when they brought Matt Millen in, what that was. Hopefully, Bob Quinn does a lot better, although it's not looking good. It's not looking good so far, but what will the Lions be like 3 years from now? Do the Lions, is it good to just go ahead and, one of the arguments with that can be made is a lot of these teams go ahead and they get systems perfected. They go ahead and they keep one system in, one coach in, and over the years they learn how to do it so well that they build a a culture of winning. They know how to do it so well that they get so good that teams cannot stop them because they have all the right pieces of the puzzle there. Then you have these teams like Seattle who struggled. Go ahead and they get go ahead and they have a real bad losing season. Go ahead and build their team through the draft. Get Russell Wilson, uh, Golden Tate, the Legion of Boom. Uh, a lot of people threw the rookie salary cap, but they know how to do it. The Lions that I don't know, is it something internal in the Lions that need to change? Is it also that Martha Ford needs to appoint somebody from the Ford family that's going to go ahead and be uh, like a liaison to the NFL, but a vocal one, like like Jerry Jones is for the Dallas Cowboys, who's coming on strong and who has been in Super Bowls time and time again. It's been a few years, but they go ahead and they get really, really bad, and they get really good, and they even stay mediocre, and then they get really good. Uh, but the Lions just don't seem to have the I don't know. Don't seem to have the strive. Don't seem to have the luck. Don't seem to have the knowledge to go ahead and get over the hump. They just go ahead and get so far, and then they get drawn back down. I don't know. I don't know. I do think that Jim Bob Cooter has ran his course with the Lions. I do think we need somebody, a whole new, different offensive system, but we also need the players to do it too. And as everybody knows, I've been hard on Matthew Stafford as far as for getting rid of him, as far as for him not being able to take us to the Super Bowl, not even being able to, after 10 years, to go ahead and get his team to play well enough for him that they win games. This year, this season, there's not the comebacks. There's not the. I mean, there's they had even a couple almost comebacks, but so we seen fortunately it wasn't against Green Bay, but we seen uh, a few games where the Lions wasn't even close, and you knew within the couple plays that the Lions were going to get their butts handed to them. You know, I I think that I think that they have taken 20 steps back or more when they moved in the direction that they have moved in. Hopefully, they'll be able to change things around. Hopefully, next season will be a lot better season because we do got room under the cap. Hopefully, the coaches, the GM, can get together and get some defensive offense line help, because we all know that defense wins championship, but you also need, with the bend but don't break defense that we got, we need to be able to score, and we need a great running game, and we need somebody back there so that when Carry-On gets hurt, they can go ahead and pick up the slack, because unfortunately, or when whoever gets hurt, there's been teams that go ahead, somebody gets hurt. I mean, look at the first time Aaron Rodgers, not last year when he got hurt, but the first time Aaron Rodgers got hurt and was out for a few games. They went ahead and the Green Bay Packers found ways to win. They elevated themselves. They went ahead and was just totally, even though you had Aaron Rodgers that was gone, they found ways to win. And like I say, I'm not talking about last season because last season they really didn't. Okay. But there was a couple seasons ago before that where Aaron did get hurt and had to take a few games off, but he came back. A not as healthy Aaron Rodgers, he came back, and I think they beat the Lions that year, at least one of the games. So I don't know. I'm gonna end this video. I've been on here for 20 minutes. I'm gonna share on Facebook. I know that this time in the morning, nobody's going to be up listening to my video. Nobody even really knows my channel or anything like that. So, but I do want to say there's a saying that I have: "Go Lions, Lions on the prowl, one pride." But this show is not directly with Lions on the prowl. It is because I'm tied to them, and it's probably just going to be one of our shows under the umbrella of Lions on the Prowl. But I'm also talking to a friend of mine. Was bringing him in. One of my shout outs, Brian from work. And I may go ahead and try to do some of these things with Tim Reardon from work and Joey Decker, or Frank Decker, I mean. Sorry. I'm going to get him in. Unfortunately, he's a Green Bay Packer fan, but he also plays for the Muskegon Mustangs. He's a cool guy, good friend of mine. I want to get him in to give his take on defense. I want to get people in where I can interview people, where I can interview fans. We go ahead and we, at Lions on the Prowl, go ahead and say Lions on the Prowl podcast from the fans' perspective. Well, the fans' perspective, we need to get more fans in there, more thoughts from them. So hopefully people will start listening to this show. Hopefully people listen to Lions on the Prowl podcast. We plan on having Ron back just as soon as we can. And fortunately, hopefully it'll be this week. Hopefully we'll be able to have Ron back on our podcast this week. Hey, my buddy's Jim. He's going through some things too, so keep him in thoughts. Probably shouldn't have said that. But Lions on the Prowl, one pride, go Lions. Let's get things done. All right. Good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Whatever it is. I know it's early in the morning, like 3:30 when I got home. It's probably about 4 o'clock now. So, all right. I'm going to get off the air now. And good night, everybody.